It's day 2 of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators Conference 2025, where legal scholars, arbitration practitioners, and international experts have converged to examine a central theme: building an arbitration system that reflects Africa's realities while earning the confidence of both local and international investors. The morning began with a deep dive into the evolution of arbitration on the continent, tracing its root from traditional African mechanisms to the modern frameworks now shaping commercial dispute resolution. Stakeholders at the conference highlighted the growing burden on Nigeria's court system, with thousands of pending cases and limited judicial manpower. They described arbitration and mediation as lifesavers that have helped to congest dockets, particularly for small and medium-scale disputes.
This is our flagship event for the year, every year. But this is special because it's the 25th one. So we started this event 25 years ago. The institute is older than that, but we started this event 25 years ago. And it's very interesting for me because when we started it, it was a very small thing, just one person speaking, one day we'd come together, we dance, and we induct new members. Now it's gone global. We have people from all over the world today in the room. There are people from the UK, from Rwanda, from Ghana, from Cameroon, from Kenya. I can't remember all, and it's growing and growing. And it's something that people now put on their calendar worldwide. If you look back, you see our sponsors. We have sponsors also from all over the world. Everybody gets excited about it because there is so much to learn every year. New things that are happening in the arbitration industry. We have people who are deep in the industry, so they are able to talk about the latest things happening in the industry. So you want to know what is happening in the arbitration industry, come here November every year.
International arbitration experts emphasized that while African countries often borrow heavily from Western models, the continent's indigenous systems have long offered structured, time-tested ways of resolving conflicts.
It focused around the different types of arbitration that exist within an African context. If you look at us generally, we're an informal system of operating, and you'll find that typically most of our disputes are solved through communal systems, through family-related systems, through religious systems. And I was saying that as we develop an arbitration system that is tailored for Africans, we shouldn't just consider and adapt what is there in the West or developed economies. It has to be tailored to what we have within our own communities and our own localities. That means creating a hybrid that takes the best practices of the world, but also brings the realistic practices of our communities. And that is the only way you can ensure equity, justice, and fairness as you engage communities and solve their problems.
Also speaking at the conference, Senior Advocate of Nigeria and first National Vice Chairman of the Chartered Institute of Arbitration Nigeria emphasized that while arbitration has become critical for commercial disputes, its effectiveness in Nigeria is still weighed down by enforcement challenges and heavy reliance on the courts, issues he believes new national policies must urgently address.
I have a book on arbitration where I broke arbitration down into 3 stages: pre-colonial, colonial, and post-colonial. I argue that in traditional African societies, we had our own means of resolving disputes. And the focus then was not apportionment of blame. In fact, a dispute was seen as a social disequilibrium. So the aim was, how do we restore equilibrium? How do we settle the parties? That is why, as we speak, our chiefs, our emirs, they still sit in their palaces judging cases. Sometimes you cannot determine whether they are conciliating or mediating or arbitrating, but they are resolving disputes and the parties are over. So when people argue that, for instance, what they refer to as an alternative dispute resolution is Western, I say no. Alternative dispute resolution originated from Africa, because The focus of ADRO essentially is to see how parties can resolve their disputes without resort to traditional court. In fact, before colonial rule, we had no place in Africa, in Nigeria, called courts. It's with colonial rule that courts emerged. So when we talk about alternative dispute resolution, I always ask, alternative to what? What is a dispute? What is resolution? Is it alternative to litigation or alternative to conciliation? So you then ask yourself, what is the primary forum for resolving disputes? You have to agree on what is the primary forum before you know what is the alternative. For me, the primary forum is settlement, because when you have disputes, you tell people go and settle. It's when they fail to settle that a third party is involved. So for me, it's alternative to settlement.
Beyond policy discussions, the conference showcased its expanding global profile. What began as a modest forum 25 years ago has now become an international gathering with delegates from across the world. With a renewed focus on culturally grounded systems, stronger enforcement frameworks, and continental collaboration, stakeholders believe Nigeria is gradually positioning itself as a leading destination for dispute resolution in Africa. Okpeyemi Owosheni, TV 360 News, Lagos.